in color, the continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Ryan O'Neal as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington, Patricia Morrow as Rita Harrington, James Douglas as Stephen Cord.
A time of decision in the Peyton County Courthouse. Shall Lee Weber be bound over for trial on charges of murdering Ann Howard? The decision is in the hands of a single individual, Judge Irwin A. Chester.
Well, gentlemen, it's all over but the shouting. I don't know about you two young bucks, but I'm exhausted. It's been quite a case. I haven't checked my calendar yet, John. Is your next case before me?
No, sir.
John and I don't get out of the courtroom for more than 3 or 4 weeks out of every year. You self-employed types have a much easier life. Right, John?
The judge is always right.
This hearing has been so emotional and argumentative, I just thought that we could end it informally. I've called you both in here for 2 reasons. First of all, I want to apologize to you, John. Normally, when an attorney oversteps the bounds of professional conduct, as Mr. Cord did, I would have had him removed from court permanently and appointed a new defense counsel. But I indulged Mr. Cord because I felt it would have been unfair to the defendant to do otherwise. If I could have done more than find you in contempt of court and fine you $500, Mr. Cord, I would have done so. Secondly, I've called you both here to tell you that it's my decision not to bind Lee Weber over for trial.
But Hannah Cord was an eyewitness. She placed the defendant on the scene. She heard him shouting threats. She saw him push Ann Howard to her death.
Hannah Cord's contradictory, hysterical testimony is unacceptable, John. She proved herself to be an entirely unreliable witness. Mr. Cord saw to that.
But the defendant's own brother was on the bluff. He heard Lee Weber making threats, too. He heard Ann fall.
Really? Why didn't Chris Weber overhear Hannah Cord and Miss Howard? Why was his eavesdropping so selective? Chris Weber is blind because of what his brother Lee did to him. If it had been anybody else, John, but not a blind boy so obviously intent upon revenge.
I disagree. I think you're making a serious mistake.
If it's the law you're talking about, John, I regret. I am not making a mistake.
I tell you right now, I won't accept this.
You know your rights better than I do. You can refile for another preliminary hearing and hope to get another judge on the bench beside me. Or you can wait until the grand jury reconvenes and try to get them to give you a murder indictment against Lee Weber.
Judge Chester, let me put it to you straight. Do you think that Lee Weber's innocent?
Do I think he's innocent? What possible difference does it make if I did?
I want to know.
I deal in the law, Mr. Prosecutor. The law, fortunately, means hard evidence. Your evidence, as I saw it, was soft, to say the least. I am not allowed to base decisions on opinions and hearsay and tears and personal vendettas. I doubt if there'd be a human being left alive on the face of this earth if those of us who wear the robes had the privilege of making decisions based on our own opinions.
Will that be all, Your Honor?
I don't see the victory smile, Mr. Cord.
It was a hollow victory, I'd say.
I'm sure you received a great shock, and yet you defended your client successfully.
Yes, I did.
You don't care about Lee Weber. You don't really care about winning. you took this case just to put Hannah Cord and Mr. Peyton on the witness stand.
I took Lee Weber's case because I thought he might be innocent.
Fair enough. The perfect lawyer's answer. But how did you have the stomach to defend a man who'd been accused of murdering your own sister?
Your Honor has me at a disadvantage.
You can drop the formality, Mr. Cord. The hearing is over. Right now, in this room, you can put your cards on the table.
You tell me you only deal in hard evidence. I wish I had that luxury. I put my cards on the table in that courtroom. I'm sorry you weren't able to see them.
Mr. Cord, you have succeeded in setting Lee Weber free. That is something that may yet weigh upon your conscience.
All rise. Division 12 of the Municipal Court of Peyton County now in session. Judge Irwin A. Chester presiding. Be seated.
The People versus Lee Weber. Ladies and gentlemen, the evidence is not sufficient to establish reasonable cause that the accused, Lee Weber, was the person who committed the felony as stated. Case dismissed.
Sandy?
Wait a minute, Lee.
Oh, congratulations, Lee. And you too, Stephen.
You said it, Doc. Isn't he great?
Let's go. Look, you ought to be very proud. Very proud.
No hard feelings, Counselor?
I'm afraid hard feelings are the only ones I've got right now.
You go ahead, Rodney. Oh, Betty, before you rush away to put the apple in the pig's mouth to celebrate your husband's victory celebration, would you please help me out in the corridor?
You owe my husband a lot more than your sarcasm, Mr. Peyton.
I'm free, man. Free, capital F-R-E-E, free.
Quiet down, Webb.
Quiet down. Oh, come on now, officer. Have a heart. You see, I got to leave this place whether I like it or not. Now, I've got to go back out into that world again and breathe fresh air and work for a living and drink a little beer. Run around town on my little old motorcycle and live in the same house with my ever-faithful, gum-chewing child bride. Talk about misery and punishment.
Can you get him out of here before he breaks the place up? I've got to get back to my desk.
Sure, go ahead. Stephen, come here. I want you to see the view I'm giving up.
Come on, Lee, you've made your point.
No, come here. I want you to get an idea what it's like. You might learn something. See, I had a ball looking out that window and watching people walk by. Sometimes a dog would come by, and once I even saw a pregnant cat. Great stuff. A real swinging view of a very swinging town.
Let's go.
Now, wait a minute. I gotta tell you something, Stephen. I think you're great. When you stand up in that courtroom and say those words and fix your stare on that judge and the people on that witness stand, you're just great. Now, I've got to admit, you had me faked out once or twice. You play a tight game. Awful tight. There was one time back there when I thought I was going to have to cop a plea for insanity or mental cruelty or break out of here or do something. That's how much you had me sweating it. But you sure paid off. Just like a 50-cent slot machine. Blip, bing, bing, bing. 3 bells, Zambaroni, and I'm a millionaire. You know, you ought to go out for politics, Stephen. I really mean it. Oh, come on. Mr. Cord, don't be put down by all that stuff Mrs. Cord set up on the stand. Because because you had her so mixed up, she really didn't know what she was saying.
I don't want to hear your expert opinion on Mrs. Cord's testimony.
Well, what's the matter then? Why aren't you clicking your heels? Oh, you're not still putting on that snob act with me, are you? After all we've been through together, you're not still putting me down, are you? After what you've done for me, Stephen, we're buddies. You've got to see that.
Of course. We're buddies.
Great.
Let's go, buddy. Get out of the way.
Congratulations, Mr. Weber.
You're kidding.
No, indeed, I mean it. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, sir.
I want to talk to you, Stephen. Alone.
Go ahead.
I have something to say to you.
Yes, I imagine you do. I imagine you're filled to the brim with years of guilt and regrets and apologies for the unforgivable sin you committed against my sister and me. Well, I'm not interested in hearing your excuses or explanations.
He's guilty. Lee Weber is guilty. Guilty of murdering Anne.
Well, thank you, Judge Peyton. I was very anxious to hear your verdict. Do you honestly expect me to believe that you suddenly care about Anne now that she's dead? After you've ignored her existence all those years?
The hearing has adjourned. The last gavel has pounded. Do you think you'll be able to silence her death screams now that you've set our murderer free? You mocked her death the moment you became involved in this case because your singular interest was motivated by hate.
I must confess to certain feelings of hate.
You've always demanded credit for what you've done. I'm giving it to you. That's your victory. You've made it possible for Anne's murderer to go free. That's your sin. And you've given me a reason to go on living until I see Lee Weber punished for his crime. Things haven't changed, Stephen. You're still destructive, still consumed with hate, just as you were when you were a child. And just as when you were a child, the grown-ups follow you around, cleaning up the mess you've made.
I must confess to certain feelings of hate.
Hello, Mario. Hey, did you hear the great news? I'm out. I'm free, man.
Do you know I was willing to bet anybody at 8 of Jacks that you'd get out?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Great,
Hey,
kid. It's
thanks,
great.
Paisano. Hey, Robert. Look at me, man. I'm free. A real shock, huh?
Shake the hand that shook the hand that shook the hand.
Come on, you guys. Last chance. Last chance, you guys.